everyone. I'm feeling pretty calm and I guess solemn today. We just finished our first really hard week of medical school. It's been week number 5 already. I've been in school for about a month and a half now. And so what I really wanted to talk about is the benefits of being told no. Because a lot of people told me that I wouldn't make it into medical school, and a lot of people didn't think I'd ever make it here. What I want to tell you is that whatever you want to do in your life, you absolutely can do, and I'm going to give you a few stories to kind of help relate all this back. So I pretty much majored in biology in my sophomore year, failed all my classes, hit rock bottom, and I went to some self-development seminars. I started reading, I started changing my life a lot, and I started figuring out wow, I can do this, I am capable, maybe I am intelligent. And so my friends originally were like, hey man, why aren't you coming out to drink with us? It's Friday night. And I was like, well, Friday night's a really good opportunity to get caught up on a lot of reading I want to do. And I really immersed myself in reading good books and things that just put positivity in my brain for the first time in my life. And it helped a lot. But back to the point of being told no, my first ever science internship was at University of Pennsylvania, and I was working at this lab, and I got there through networking, right? My strength lies in my ability to communicate, relate to, and build positive relationships with people, kind of through networking and stuff, not math. I'm not a math type of person. And I show up at this internship, and they're like, hey, we don't really know why you're here. You're just kind of here. We're going to figure something out for you. But for the meantime, just don't break anything. And what did I do? I contaminated a empty plastic bottle, and they ended up kicking me out. They also kicked me out because I didn't know the difference between oxidation and reduction, and I wasn't able to commute an hour each way 5 days a week, which, I mean, look, it's totally reasonable, right? They weren't in the wrong. They brought in this undergrad kid who has no idea what he's doing. Oxidation reduction is the most basic thing ever, and I have no idea about it. I didn't even, I had it all backwards, and they had to sit there and explain it to me again. And so, this is my first experience with science, and I'm falling asleep in meetings. I don't even really want to be here. Super bored, and it's just not a very reinforcing or rewarding experience. There's nothing about it that makes me say wow, this is what I want to spend my career doing. In fact, it was quite the opposite. I was getting a lot of feedback of you're not good at this, you probably can't handle this, you're not very smart, and guess what? Now I'm in medical school, and I'm doing pretty well. So here's what I want you to take from this. If you have a dream or some crazy idea, when people tell you no and you fail, they're going to instill a really sticky, negative lesson. And I encourage you to go seek out those lessons. I encourage you to go out and get rejected, because when you get embarrassed, usually when you get embarrassed, you're going to learn a lesson. And you're going to learn a hard lesson too. And you're not going to forget it. Positive psychology says something along the lines of, for every one bad thought, emotion you have, you need to have 7 to 9 to balance it out, to maintain a good ratio, because that's how fickle the positivity in our lives is compared to the negativity that we experience. So take that one home and focus on positivity. Smile more. Second, when you go through these negative times, they're really going to make you ask yourself deep, hard questions is this what I want? Is this really for me? And if it is for you, you'll seek it out and it'll work. And keep seeking it out. Keep making mistakes. When I was, I think in high school, I thought I wanted to be a physicist. Again, I can't do math, but I wanted to be an astrophysicist. I had these crazy ideas. And so I was reading this book on quantum physics. It was tabletop, or it was coffee table physics. There was no math in there, just layman could understand it. And so the double slit experiment basically says that the building blocks of our universe behave in one way, but then when there's someone there to view it, they behave in a different way. So you have a slit, you have 2 slits, and then you shoot an electron in between them, and then you find out that it actually goes through them. in like a waveform pattern. But then the act of viewing it changes its behavior, and most likely it's because like you put energy into it, and so the electron is like has like no weight. So if you're looking at it, you have to put energy into looking at it. So it's probably going to change its trajectory. But the way I interpreted it is that the universe will change itself, will bend itself to your expectations of it. And this is something that like was really deeply instilled in my heart from like the time I was 15 or 16. And I knew that if I believed in myself enough, and if I had pure intentions, and if my heart really wanted whatever it is that I was going to do, that I was going to get it. And so no matter what anyone said or what anyone could do to me, I knew who I was on the inside, and I knew where I was going to go, and I was going to attract that thing. Some people call it like the law of attraction, right? Very, very similar concepts. And so I really do believe that if it's as preposterous as me like being this like human like ape man thing that likes chicken, and I'm in this world that like doesn't really make sense like in this given time period, who's to say, right? Who's to say that like the laws of this world are so cut and dry and that everything's meaningless, and maybe the world really is centered around you. Maybe you really are the center. You are the center of your own universe. But nobody can really prove it wrong that you aren't the center of the entire universe either. And that the things that you want is what's going to happen in your life ultimately. So maybe take a step back and ask yourself, like really deep down, what is it that I truly desire in my life? And what steps am I taking to go and get that thing? Okay? A good example of this, I have like so many examples of getting like fired and just not being in places that I don't belong, and people realizing like, dude, what are you doing here? Please get out. But each one of these things has brought me another step forward to developing into the person I am today. When I was in college and I first announced that I wanted to be a doctor, a lot of my peers made fun of me. Like most of my teammates were like TJ guy wants to be a doctor? Like, no way. And I even confirmed this. I was talking to one of my friends one time and I was like, hey, like I know people make fun of me because I want to be a doctor. Is this true? And he was like, yeah, it is. And people might make fun of you. They might say your dreams are crazy. But guess what? Just show them that they're crazy for not believing in you. And it doesn't really matter if you prove anyone wrong in life, because like the people that matter are going to be there and they're going to push you forward and they're going to lift you up. And the people that don't matter, they're just going to find their way out. They're going to show themselves the door. They might not be very nice to you on their way out, but don't worry. They're on their way out. So don't worry about them. Worry about the people that are a positive influence on your life. And so I think a good example of following your dreams and not being proved wrong is whenever you have the opportunity to do something that's in line with it, go take it. Last year, around this time actually, I took a job with, it was about 6 hours away from where I live. And I spent a lot of money to relocate out there. I didn't know anybody. And I was really just like passionate about the work I was doing. It's important to note that when I first took this job, it was offered in a place that my mentor, who inspired me to become a doctor, and someone I work with and still admire very much today, this is the same place that he went to medical school. And these were the same halls that he walked. They were the same places that he got his MD and his PhD. And as someone who I so deeply desired to become, and I still do, I felt like this was a calling. I felt like the universe was opening itself up and saying, hey man, welcome. Like, you made it. Time to get closer to that thing you so deeply desire. And it was like a huge sign for me. And I was like, whoa, this is incredible. It turned out to be totally different from that. And I'll explain why in a second. And so when I found out that there was one of the doctors I worked with did research in line with my interests for my life, I was like really starstruck. I was like, wow, like this person's amazing. I enjoyed everything about their personality and I really enjoyed their work. So I was like, hey, like how can I help for free? Can I be a volunteer and work with you? And they were like, absolutely. I ended up getting a project that was just out of my league. It was a lot of programming, it was a lot of computer science, and once again it was math. And it just wasn't something that was within my skill set. And I was starting to realize that And as I was realizing it, my employer called me up the day I had a medical school interview and was like, "Hey man, we're probably going to fire you. So you need to make a decision. Are you going to keep your job, or are you going to do this volunteer research thing? Because we really are considering dropping you and getting rid of you if you don't make a decision. Call me back on Monday. Let me know what you think. Yeah, I'm very upset with you, and my boss is even more upset with you." And I was thinking to myself, like, did you guys like just approve this? Like, jeez. So that was like a really acutely negative experience, because I had relocated myself so far away. I took this job that I thought was going to be like perfect and everything, and it turns out it just like wasn't that. It turns out that trying to do the thing that I thought was going to put me most in line with my own goals and my own perceived life's purpose was going to help me. And in fact, I was rejected so hard. Now you might think like, oh, this is another example of like why you shouldn't do that, and why you should just like walk a straight line, and you shouldn't, you know, take risks and try to do the thing that you feel like you're meant to do in this earth. And there's going to be a lot of experiences in your life where you're going to be challenged, and the world is really going to prod you and poke you and ask you like, is this what you want? And ultimately you need to persevere, and you need to figure out who you are and how badly you really want to accomplish your goals. So for me, I felt really embarrassed. Like I was so ashamed that I could barely even talk to the PI who I had to resign from anymore. I just felt kind of like generally shunned. And then my experience at work every day was really negatively impacted from that. So while it was unfortunate in the meantime, it never distracted me from like who I thought I was or where I was going. I just perceived it as a temporary setback, and now I'm very fortunate that I'm able to continue doing the research that I want in a way that it's facilitated and supported. And when I share what I'm doing with people, they're very excited, and they're not trying to kick me out or do anything like that. So what I want you to take away from this is follow your dreams. You'll get there. It might be hard, and it might seem like you'll never get there, but you will, and things will work out. I hope you enjoyed this message. I need to go back to studying now. I got to get a little bit more done before the evening's over. But I just want to thank you again for watching this video and supporting me by just listening to me ramble. And if you have any questions or comments, just send me a message or comment below. I'd love to chat with you. I love helping people. That's something I'm very passionate about. And please like and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to get this message out to more people. Thanks.